You're gonna be just fine.
Stephen King Misery, a master story of tension and introspection. Every chapter is full of these internal thoughts, introspection. It's always keeping the tension at max pressure.
Isn't that a little strange?
Now in the movie, which is brilliantly done, there's one thing you missed out on in the movie, and one thing where the book reigns supreme. You get to hear the hero's thoughts. You get to hear what he's thinking, what he's feeling, and you get a deeper level of the story. And Paul Sheldon, the hero, has to listen to his thoughts and understand what he's going through. There's a whole dimension to the tale. There you go. The coffee just arrived. No one does it better than the Aussies when it comes to a little latte.
Very kind.
So when you're writing your story, you want to make sure you bring out the deepest thoughts, the darkest fears, the truest emotions, the dreams, the aspirations of your character. If you don't, you may as well be just writing a screenplay, because you're going to miss out on that extra dimension that a novel can grab that no movie or TV show can. Look at some examples from the master, Stephen. Or just a few pages, any page I can flick through, and there'll be introspection in there. We'll just look at a few, and I'll just pick them at random, and we'll see how it adds brilliantly to the tale and how we can learn from it ourselves. So the hero Paul Sheldon, he was a writer.
You mean Paul Sheldon, the writer?
And he'd wrote these stories called Misery. Chastain was the main star.
Well, everybody sure likes those misery books.
And she made him rich and famous, paid the bills, but he was sick of her. Drained his creativity in the end, turned him into a drudge, so he killed her off. And that was supposed to be the last book of misery he'd ever have to write. That was until he had a big car accident and got laid up, broken bones, then looked after by Annie Wilkes, a super fan.
My name is Annie Wilkes.
And Annie Wilkes wasn't too happy, but she killed off her favourite character, Misery.
And you murdered her!
And she had something in mind. What is it? And while Paul is recovering at one point, he's in bed, she brings him in a typewriter and she says this. "Oh, but Paul," she said, turning to him, her eyes dancing animatedly in her flushed face. "I don't think, I know. You're going to use this typewriter to write a new novel. Your best novel. Misery's Return." And so, he was stuck, gonna have to write a book while he was dying, and he presumed that she was just gonna probably bump him off once he finished. And that's where the introspection starts to come in. So let's take a look at a bit here. She brings him in the typewriter and sets up a room, and it's not looking too good. This is narration. And he says, 6 weeks of life which had spent suffering with this broken bones and renewing his acquaintance with Misery Chastain, followed by a hasty intermittent in the backyard. Or perhaps Annie would feed his remains to Misery the pig. That would have a certain justice, black and gruesome though it may be. Now comes his thoughts, the introspection that's written here. Then do it. Make her mad. She's like a walking bottle of nitroglycerine as it is. Bounce her around a little. Make her explode. Better than lying here suffering. So he was thinking, you'll end it all, you'll make her angry, so she bumps him off. That's the end of his pain and suffering.
Eventually, you'll come to accept the idea of being here.
A little bit more narration. Says he tried looking up at the interlocked W's, but all too soon he was looking at that typewriter again. It stood atop the bureau, mute and thick and full of words he did not want to write. Grinning with its one missing tooth. Had a letter missing and he had to go ahead by hand and write in all the letters. But here comes the next introspection. He changed his mind. And it's kind of, he's thinking that the typewriter is talking to him. And this is the introspection. "I don't think you believe that, old buddy. I think you want to stay alive even if it does hurt. Even if it means bringing Misery back for an encore. You'll do it. You'll try anyway. But first you're going to have to deal with me. And I don't think I'll like your face." Makes us even, Paul croaked. So you see, even his thoughts are going into the typewriter. So he's imagining the typewriter talking to him, abusing him, saying he can't do it. And thus the story goes on. He's got a battle, try and write a story of Misery's return to save his life. He's got to make it. So Annie Wilkes won't bump him off.
Is this what you're looking for?
Can he do it? So If you didn't have this introspection in the tale in the story, you wouldn't understand what he was going through, the decisions he was making and why he was making them, the impact it was having on him psychologically and emotionally. So when you're telling your tale, make sure you always bring in the character's thoughts, the introspection, and make them unique by such as using the typewriter and make them mean something. It's life and death, big drastic decisions, make it important. There he is, looking a bit angry on the back. I do recommend Misery. It's quite awesome. I'll probably give it a 9 out of 10. Stephen King's Misery. He'll be gripped to the final page.
You dirty bird.